In 1999, we bought what we have now named the Oregon Lavender Farm, which had been a carnation egg facility and thereafter a Rex rabbit growing and processing operation. And when we bought the farm, we decided we wanted to put in botanical gardens and that we wanted to grow some essential oil crops. We arrived at lavender because it's one of the most popular and widely used essential oils in the world. Lavender grows well in many different climates, and there are many different types of lavender. But it's very similar with grapes. A lot has to do with the exposure of the field, how much sunlight it gets, what the quality of the soil is. So there's a lot of different variables. By and large, lavender can be grown in arid areas, but it also prospers when it has water. So in our particular area, we have an abundance, we're blessed with an abundance of water, so that can help out our oil yields. We've received Oregon Till certification for the Oregon Lavender Farm. For traditional farming, a lot of times it's quite a significant challenge for them to transition to organic farming. For us, it was relatively easy. Lavender lends itself to organic farming. The big challenges is learning how to mechanically cultivate and use weed control. We don't have, lavender doesn't have natural predators. Deer don't like it, rabbits don't like it. So from the standpoint of organic farming, lavender is an ideal crop. We synced our festival with the Oregon Lavender Association, so we're 2 weeks later, and so our big challenge now is to get in and get harvested before the flowers all fall off. And we really want to harvest this at where there's about 50% flowers to bud.
Today we are distilling lavender oil from our field of Buena Vista over here on the other side of the distillery. We just got done filling it up out in the field and hooked up the steam about 15-20 minutes ago. We're now liberating lavender oil. What happens with the plant material, when the steam hits that plant material, it actually boils all the water and all the oil and anything else that's volatile out of that lavender charge. It ruptures the cells. We get a complete plant water and oil charge in that steam as a solvent is kind of how I think of it. This lavender oil is liberated with the steam pumped through this bin. All that steam is then collected through this pipe up here, sent down the condenser. Now this condenser has cold water coming from the bottom to the top. As it goes to the top, it's heated by the steam. The steam is then condensed and comes out extremely hot. The heat from that steam comes out this tube right here, and the bottom is our condensed steam coming into the separator. The separator then separates the oil from the water. The oil then comes out the top when we're ready for it, and the water is pouring out this level right here into our waiting container. The oil is so much lighter than the water, and we are so specific on our size on this thing. If there's a lot of extra oil in here, it'll just glob over the top because it's so light. So what I try to do, right when it hits this right here, I'll pour the very first amount of oil that we get. We'll smell it. We'll say, oh, it's really sharp. It takes a while for this lavender oil to mellow. After we pour the oil, we just allow it to accumulate. I pour this off. We typically get about, a gallon, a little less than a gallon, depending upon the year and the variety. You can see in here I've got a little bit of water in there as well. It's real easy to tell how much water you have. This kind of oil is real special. It's developed at OSU by Dr. Don Roberts here in Oregon, and it's special because of its constituents. The oil is all over the plant. We have a much higher concentration of oil on these little buds than we do on the stem, but there is a bit of oil in the stem. This particular variety has a high linalool content. The linalool is a constituent that is highly prized for aromatherapy and therapeutic properties. Our Lavender Grosso variety has very little linalool content and a very high camphor content. That camphor goes fantastically in soap. It makes and imparts a real freshness to the lavender products that you make with it. Typically, the Buena Vista is used primarily for aromatherapy and medicinal purposes, for burns and other things like that, because of its high linalool content. Now, linalool is a constituent that can't be replicated synthetically. You can really only get it from plants. There are a number of other plants that produce linalool. We prefer the lavender linalool because it smells so fantastic.
Established our Lavender Festival. Our focus was to be on the local agricultural community, that this is a festival for the community, and we wanted to promote environmentalism and sustainable agricultural practices. And Clackamas Community College has a horticulture program and that we were aware of, and so we wanted to get them involved in what we were doing. And they've been very supportive with us, coming out to our festivals and providing information and literature. Clackamas County Soils and Water has been not only a participant in our festivals, but has also provided us a lot of information about how to deal with noxious weeds and manage composting and different things. This is our 7th annual Clackamas County Lavender Festival. It got started because we had were interested in what they were doing up in Sequim, Washington, where they had a cooperative of farms where they would have a tour, and they were having tremendous success in having large numbers of people. I think it was like 50,000 people in a week's period of time, and so we decided that we wanted to have a similar type of festival at our own farm. Plus, I used to go out to Edgefield, and they had a beautiful little aromatic garden there, and being that we were in the business of selling essential oils from all over the world, there was nothing more fun to me than to go in and to be able to pick leaves of different plants, chamomile, peppermint, whatever it might be, and roll it up in my fingers and be able to smell it and go, yeah, that's the material that we have. So those two things kind of gave us the models. At the festival, we have a variety of vendors, many of them selling natural products, some of them made from lavender. We have some people who are going to be coming in kite flying, but the focus is we've got all sorts of lavender food, lavender honey chicken wings, lavender ice cream, lavender lemonade. We even have a lavender beer that's made by Oregon Trail Brewing out of Corvallis.
Howdy, I'm Dave Wills from Oregon Trail Brewery. Been brewing beer at Oregon Trail Brewery since 1987. Been brewing beer, Lavender Ale for this festival here since this festival started, I believe, 6 or 7 years ago. We get lavender, regular lavender flowers from this field here, from Liberty Natural, and then we put it in a little like kind of muslin bag, and we put it right into the keg of beer, and then that was done on Monday. So we take it and add it to a golden beer, like our beer. This is our Beaver Tail Ale. It's a pale ale, and then the lavender is really pretty potent. If it within a shoot about a day, you're already tasting lavender and getting a lavender aroma, and so we have to be real careful with how much we use, because if we do use too much, it'll get too bitter. And so this is something we've been playing. We only make it once a year for the Lavender Festival. It's not something we make year-round at all. But it's got to have a lavender beer to go with the Lavender Festival, and the lavender ice cream, and the lavender chicken I think they have, and it's a fun thing for the fest.
First thing you do is to get a bundle, make it look nice, however you need it to be. Wrap it as tight as you can a few times. Hold it in place. Grab your second bundle and you lay it so that you fill in the ground, and you wrap around the new bundle without wrapping the old bundle. Give it a good 3 or 4 wraps, pull it tight, and do it again. The more even the bundles that you tie, it's going to come out a little more even around it also. When my wife and I got married, we have a couple of bundles and wreaths that still smell good after a couple of years. So when you get down and you start getting close to meeting the other end here, you want to tuck the stems under the flowers so that they're not visible to the front. This is where it's difficult to wrap the last bundle. And then, to finish it off, finish the wire off, make a loop, and twist it around, and you have something to hang it now. And we'll take the shears, turn it upside down, and cut the stems as close to the wire without touching the flowers on the front. Trim all the stems off, and you have a wreath.